Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Embrey, I want to thank you for doing this with me.
My pleasure, my
You know,
pleasure.
this is the first time we've sat down like this to get this going. We've known each other for a while.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've ridden motorcycles together.
Yep.
I taught your son in gymnastics class. It was father-son class.
Yeah, when he
We
was
did that
3.
together. We did that
Yeah.
three.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing similar that we have is we rode motorcycles together. We've been on several, as I said, that
Couple
ride
tours.
bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a martial artist.
Yes.
What
And you're a
de-
gymnast.
yeah. But what degree are you?
Degrees.
There's no degrees in yours, right?
Well, yes. Different factions have different categories, and there are different belt systems.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically, there wasn't a belt system like the karate, and everyone who came out of the Yip Man camp, they pretty much had to put together a system of themselves. And so my teacher, my sifu, which is teacher, did the same thing.
Right.
So to break it down, we have only three belts.
This is in Kung Fu. People don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, this is Wing Chun Kung Fu. Yeah.
Wing Chun Kung Fu.
Wing Chun Kung Fu.
Okay.
We have 3 sashes. We
Mhm.
call them sashes.
Right.
One is red,
Right.
one is blue, one is black.
Okay.
And then actually we have a gold.
Right.
And
Are those by rank?
those are by rank.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's one level where you have a white t-shirt and a red sash to start off.
Mm-hmm.
Then as you go up, you get 1 stripe on your sash. Then you get 2 stripes on your sash.
Okay.
Then you change your shirt to blue, and then your sash becomes blue.
Okay.
Then you get a black stripe on your blue sash, and once you get the 2nd stripe on your blue sash, you're ready to take a black sash.
Mm.
But you still keep the blue shirt.
Mm.
And to get a black shirt, you have to do a fighting test, And once you can go to the next level as a blue shirt, you're learning the pole, the Lun Dim Pung Kwan, the 6.5 point pole, and you get a brown stripe on your black sash.
Mm-hmm.
And you can still be a blue shirt. Mm-hmm. But to go to the sword level, you need to become a black shirt. Okay. And once you finish the swords, you have 2 brown stripes on your black sash.
Okay.
Okay. And there's 3 hand systems. There's 3 forms, or 3 katas. In karate, say katas.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 3 forms, and there's a series of movements, maybe about 23 or 24 movements. And then there's the wooden dummy,
Mm-hmm.
what you see in the movies, the wooden dummy.
Right.
And their weapon is a Lun Dim Pung Kwan, 6.5 point pole, and 8 chopping knives, which are broadswords,
Mm-hmm.
short broadswords, close in combat fighting.
Now, what rank did you get to? You've done them all, haven't you?
Yes, I've done them all. And after you complete the system, and your black shirt with a black sash with 2 stripes.
So how many years have you been doing it?
I started in '85.
Okay. So how many years has that been?
So that's about
85
almost
now.
36 years.
36 years.
Yeah. So
And
yeah, I guess it would be 35 years.
What got you involved in it? I mean, why did you want to go into Kung Fu? Were you're being beat up as a little kid, right?
No.
You're being bullied. And you're skinny, and people used to chase you home.
Well, I was
take your
skinny.
lunch money.
I was skinny. Nobody chased me. No, basically, I grew up in the late 60s, early 70s, which means I was like 6 or 7 years old at the time,
Right.
during the big martial arts boom.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee, Fist of
Bruce Lee.
Fury, Enter the Dragon. And we used to go to the movies, come out, what and
Right.
Bruce was it.
He was.
So at 10 years old, I went to Salvation Army. I took judo.
Okay.
I think I took a month lessons. They kept throwing me on the ground. I was like, I don't plan to be on the ground. So I stopped. And then during high school, I found, I think it was Ho Chin Kung Fu.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm from Pittsburgh, so Duquesne University, one of the students there was teaching it. I did that for about 6 months. Then I went to the military.
Mm-hmm. What branch?
Army.
Okay.
Yeah, I was an engineer.
Right.
And
And you weren't drafted. Were you drafted?
No, I did delay entry. I signed up even a year before I left.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had charted my route, and then I went to Virginia, which is, just like 10 miles out of DC. So I went to DC looking for the first Chinatown, and martial arts couldn't find it. So I was there for 2 years. Then I went to Hawaii, and I went to Chinatown, which there is, And I found like 2 different systems, and I chose Wing Chun, which was in '85.
Okay.
And I did that for 6 years. Then I came to Japan, upon which time, you know, there was no Wing Chun. So I started my own school, mainly so I could train.
So you could train, right?
Right, and then I started that in '97.
Yeah. Because I've seen you do that. I mean, when you were bringing your son to my program, my gymnastics program, and I asked you once, I said, show me a little bit of this. I just remembered how smooth you were. I mean, you went past me. You said, okay, act like you're going to stab me with a knife or punch me or something. And I did that, and you went past me. But when you passed me, you'd hit me in my ribs. You'd hit me in my neck.
I touched you. I didn't hit you.
No, I know. But you tapped me in my ribs, my neck,
to indicate
and in my ankle. So I didn't, so quick. And I said, man, this is dynamite. But too much time for me to be dealing with it. But it was nice.
Right.
I know you've taught a lot of people that I know too. So you've done that. Hey, listen, I'm making this more like an interview than I am a conversation, but that's good.
No, we can go back and forth.
We can, whichever way you want to do it.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, you just had Bell's palsy too.
Bell's palsy, yeah. I got that.
Yeah.
It's December, today's the 28th, I guess.
And you're looking really good now because, I mean, when you showed me, when you called me up on the phone and your whole right side was just, your eye was wide open, your mouth was contorted.
Drooping, contorted.
Contorted and stuff, and you were talking a little bit of a
right,
flow.
water was coming out of, food was coming out of my right side of my mouth.
And now, well, tell me, how did you recover from that? Wait, what do you think caused it, first of all? What do you think caused it?
Okay.
How'd you get to where you are now? I know that they say most people recover. I did read up on it afterwards, and most people do recover after a while. But yours seems to be kind of miraculous because, and some people keep it.
Some people keep it.
In rare cases, some people stay paralyzed.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
So, what do you think caused it in your case?
Well, basically, I'll tell you what happened. It was a Monday. I was brushing my teeth, and I was gargling, and I couldn't keep the water in my mouth. It was like I was like, what's going on? So I didn't pay any attention. I was going to sleep. The next day, it was weird. The next day, that was on the right side. My left eye, I had a sty in my eye. You know, you get a bump in the inside of your eye. And usually I like wash my hands and I go like this and I close my eyes for like a couple of minutes and it kind of goes away. And so it went away. And then I was driving. I drive to work like, 2 hours and 2 hours back. And I kept blinking. And my eye wouldn't close. So I put my sunglasses on and then I kind of, didn't tell my wife right away. I just wanted to see what was going on and wanted to make her nervous.
This is your right eye or your left eye?
This is my right eye.
Right eye,
but subsequently that morning, the next morning, my left eye, I got a sty in it.
Right.
And then when I started driving, my right eye kind of wouldn't really, function. And then I just kind of blew it off, went to work. Then I came back again, and then my food I couldn't chew, and I was biting my lip because there was no nerves, and so I couldn't. Usually, when you bite,
you can feel it.
You can move your lip moves out of the way. Right. So my lip was just dangling, and so I was just like biting it. And I was like, "What's going on?" So I told my wife, she said, "Oh, you got to go." So the next day, I went to the hospital, and the doctor said, "Oh, you have Bell's palsy," which I have never heard before. And I was kind of scared because everything went limp on my face. I was like, "Am I having like a mini stroke?" So I called my cousin, whose wife is a nurse in Florida, and she told me probably you have this, and probably you're gonna do ABC, and it's exactly what happened. Okay. And so I went to the doctor. Said, "Oh, you have this, and we're gonna give you steroids and vitamins and minerals for 2 weeks." And so that's what they did, but I didn't want to wait 2 weeks, So I said, okay, me being of the Chinese arts, I says, well, let me find some acupuncture. So I went and I found a Japanese acupuncture, and he starts sticking needles in my hands and my feet.
You're actually going there. You found this is okay. You're going to go through the whole thing.
Yeah. So this is a Japanese guy. He's charging me $8,000 an hour. And I said, okay, whatever it takes. But I'm like, wait, you sticking my arms and my hands and my feet? It's in my face. I said, and I've seen it before. I said, why don't you? He said, oh, it's kind of dangerous. I'm like, really? And it was expensive. So I stopped. I called my wife. I said, find another place. So she did. Only Chinese. And she found in Shibuya in a doctor's building, kind of near the big camera, across from the cello shop that you go to. Right. And I went there, and right away they would stick needles in my eyes, my ears, and my neck.
Right. Around your eyes, not in your eyes.
Not in my eye, no. Right. Just here, my forehead.
Right.
And to give you an idea, this side of my face, there was no movement. So when I go like this, I have wrinkles. Okay. But when I went like that forward, the wrinkles stopped here.
Gotcha.
And so there was
interesting.
Everything was dead.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow. And then after a week, the wrinkles like...
You're going there tonight, as a matter of fact.
I'm going there tonight.
Right.
And then the wrinkles came back, and I had to, go like this and literally close my eye closed, push my eye closed.
To be able to close them at night.
To be able to sleep. And I didn't want to wear a patch because my eye would open up and the patch would like scratch the inside of my eyes. Right. So I would just, close my eyes. And luckily, it would stay most of the time. So after going there for a couple of days, and she would take out the needles, and I would feel this tingling. It was like static. Mm-hmm. And I could feel my lip would start twitching, so it was working. Mm-hmm. And it took about 2 weeks, I got a certain level. And after that, she was, okay, well, we're going to take it to another level. And she attached electrodes to those. Okay. And it's like, and I'm and took it to another level after a month. And then after maybe 5 or 6 weeks, she started using the incense, the punks, right? And those big, it looked like thin cigarettes, cigars rather. Mm-hmm. And then, get real close and real hot on the points. And then it just took it to another level. Then all this came back. And then I can kind of wink.
Uh-huh. You're looking really good now.
And I can blink. Right. But the problem is still here. It's this area right here.
You have no sensation there.
No, I can have feelings, but it's nerves.
The nerves.
So controlling the nerves. Okay. And I can usually move my nose like this.
Okay, yeah.
But this one doesn't move as much.
As much, it doesn't, yeah.
And before, my nostrils were like, the left side was like this, I'm exaggerating, and the right side was like this.
Yeah, right. It wasn't doing anything.
Right, so now it's coming up, it's maybe 80, 85, 90%. Right. The nostrils coming up because I'm starting to get the feeling. Right. And sometimes I'll be sitting there and then my face will start tingling.
So the only thing that you're doing is just acupuncture? You're not taking any medicine or anything?
No, you can only take two weeks of steroids, which is a very small amount. So I did that. I'm taking vitamins. Okay. And so let me go back to the possible source. Okay. So the doctor told me that it's stress related.
And you started thinking.
Right. Or it could be because, you leaned up against something cold and it affected your nervous system, which a friend of mine, that happened to his 90-some-year-old dad.
He was leaning up against something cold and just bingo.
Yeah. Or it's stress. And basically the way the stress works is you have viruses in your body that are kind of hidden or dormant. And then, a stressor comes off, whatever it may be, and it uncovers the virus and it attacks your nervous system. And so possibly that's what happened. And then also it has to lack of sleep. So I usually sleep 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, you had a lot of stuff going on.
Right. Plus I've just built a house and
brand new house here. You took me around that nice, beautiful home.
Thank you.
How's that feel? Wait, okay, now let's go into something else. You told me about the belts. A black man in Japan buying his own home. You have a home in Japan. Your wife's not even Japanese.
Right.
So how does a brother do that?
Well,
and you've been in Japan how many years now?
I've been here 29 years.
29 years.
And for these or that reasons, I don't have Eijuken yet. I just applied. But
what's Eijuken?
Eijuken is permanent residency.
Right.
So without permanent residency, but I've owned my own corporation for the past 13 years. But I've had and repaid about $300,000 US in loans. Okay. But when it comes to mortgage, the mortgage companies don't see that. Right. They look at you as an individual, not as your company. Right. So taking that in consideration.
So you own the house as an individual now, or you own it as your company?
As an individual.
Okay.
Yeah. So because just to educate people, if you get a business loan, it's basically 10 years. You don't get any more. You may get 15 if you can push it out. But basically, you have to pay everything off in 10 years. So if you had the funds to do that, so I didn't want to budget my accounting that way. So I put it in my name. So in doing so, I got a loan, but my interest is more than double, which is 3.9%. 3.9%. And the average interest in Japan is 1.3. 1.3. Yeah. So basically, I got the loan at a high interest. And I got it from August, and probably sometime next year I'll get Ajuken, then I will drop to 1.3, and basically I put down about 65 or 70%.
Okay.
I put down
home, right.
of my home, yes. And I got a 20-year loan for the remainder, which I will pay off in less than 15.
How many bedrooms do you have in your place?
I have 3 bedrooms.
3 bedrooms. You have a nice. I've been there.
Yeah.
So you have a living room. You have a kitchen area. You have 2 parking spaces.
2 parking spaces.
2 parking spaces and a little garden area out there.
Garden area.
Nice.
I have
areas,
a wooden deck on the back.
Yeah,
and my living room is like 22 Joe.
Right.
Yeah, so it's really spacious. And as you and I play instruments,
right.
You know, horns are kind of loud.
Right.
And so I could go up to like 120 decibels. So I had put soundproofing in my first floor. I didn't tell you that?
You didn't tell me that. I didn't know
that. I didn't tell you that.
No, that's why the windows aren't, but you only have that one side of sliding windows, and then you put the slash windows there.
Well, no, that slash windows I put rock on
there. Okay.
Rock on there, and it's to support the rock. I have
soundproofing.
I have boarding, which acts like a buffer. Plus, I coated the planks with a certain material, the soundproofing, and I have that in that area. Okay. So I told my wife to go outside. I played my tenor. I played my cello.
And she couldn't hear it.
Couldn't hear nothing.
That's beautiful.
Nothing, I think. And then upstairs, I have 2 daughters, and their rooms, the floor is reinforced. Right. Because when they leave, that will be my gym. And
they're going to be leaving soon, huh?
Well, I don't know.
Right.
But I'll tear out the wall in the middle, and that's my gym. So I reinforce that, and I'll put extra wooding to make it stronger with a black thick mat. And so I'm looking ahead.
That's nice. You told me also because of, well, you've always been fit. I've never seen you out of shape. You've always been in shape. But you said now that after you've had this paralysis in the right side of your face and stuff, you started taking more vitamins, or you're taking less? You're taking vitamin D3.
Right, exactly.
What else?
Well, what happened is I'm a disabled veteran also. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going to increase my my benefits. So I went to a doctor that is a doctor at the American Embassy, and he's also at St. Luke's. So I see him at St. Luke's, and he did all my workups, and he found out that I have a vitamin D deficiency, which most people of color, even himself, he's Indian, American, he's from India.
Well, see, most black people do have vitamin D deficiency if they're not in a place that it's lit all the time. They're not in the sun all the time. We're inside.
Yeah, or even people who are
darkly pigmented.
Dark pigment.
Anybody with dark pigmentation.
Right.
So that's one thing, and that takes care of your bones. Your vitamin D is for your bones, and also they say that it helps you sleep better when you get vitamin D. These children that are hyper and stuff.
And your immune system totally boosts your immune system.
That's right, most definitely. I've been taking D3. So also, a lot of people believe this helps against getting any kind of virus, including the corona.
That's true. That's true.
Virus.
There's evidence to
that, and also
that.
zinc.
Zinc, yes.
I take zinc. I take a tablet of zinc. I think it's 10
milligrams.
10 milligrams.
So when this COVID stuff kicked off, I've known about vitamin D for the last 3 or 4 years or so. Especially being a man of color, and we're not exposed. That's why there's a high rate of cancer in like Chicago, the cold states, because most people are not in the sun and they're in the office.
And they're not taking D supplements or anything like that.
Exactly.
Right. When we were kids, you were told to drink milk.
Vitamin D.
That was supposed to be vitamin D.
Right. But now there's no vitamin. I think a lot of companies have stopped putting vitamin D, even in the States.
So, yeah.
Right. And in Japan, no.
Yeah,
no. So I got a total workup, and I have like chronic asthma. So I'm taking inhalers. So since I'm taking inhalers, there's steroids in the inhalers, so which is not good for your bones. So I'm taking calcium pills that are combined with vitamin D, which makes the combination makes it go deep into the calcium into your bones. So
were you taking what? Say it again.
I'm taking a combination of calcium, and vitamin D.
Okay.
So with the vitamin D carries the calcium into the bones.
So how much calcium do you take?
I take 300 milligrams.
Okay, milligrams. Was that
It's
prescribed?
calcium and vitamin D.
Was that prescribed to you, or is something you just learned on your own?
No, it's a supplement. And
Supplement.
I did my homework, but after I went to my doctor, he was like, "Oh, that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing." And I'm doing that because the steroids doesn't really get into my body because I gargle immediately. But just in case, to protect my bones, I'm taking the calcium combined with vitamin D.
Okay.
Now, my doctor said also take vitamin D3 because it penetrates the membranes.
But D3 is the only D you're taking, right?
No.
Take D3. You take D and D3?
Yes.
I just take D3.
Right. So basically, I'm really deficient because I got the blood workup. So he was like, because I'm taking steroids in my inhaler, I need the calcium. Right.
Okay, got you.
So if I didn't need that, I would just only take D3.
D3. And
Right.
you wouldn't take D.
No, not with the combination with the.
Right, it's not necessary. Okay.
Exactly.
So I don't need that. See, you're getting me worried because I take D3. And I'm going to show you mine too because you said you can only get yours at Costco. But I get it at any pharmacy.
Okay.
It's D. And sometimes you have to look for it, but they have it.
Yeah, some people,
It's
they don't.
called natural, I forget the name of it, natural choice.
Yeah, the yellow one, right?
Natural choice, yes.
Yeah, but I can't find it.
I have it.
Matsumoto. That's where I get my zinc from.
Yeah, I get my zinc there too. So natural choice is what I get my vitamin D.
Right.
Three. Yeah.
So what I do is, my doctor was telling me, basically, what I need to do, I need to take, the pills you get is 3,000 units per day, but that's a little, I don't need that much. But my doctor said take 1,000. And then once you get up to where you should be, then go back to 500 and always take it. And he said,
because you always have that inhaler.
No.
Why?
I'm talking about D3 now.
Oh, D3. Okay.
D3.
D, okay.
Right. So he said basically, if you feel yourself getting a cold, then take like maybe 500 or 7,000, 5,000 or 7,000 of vitamin D3 and knock it out. 1 week, boom, 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 and it's gone. But normally, for me, I'm on a rebound. I need 1,000. I'll tear down to 500. But he said basically, you only need like about 170.
Okay, but we're not getting it, so still, yeah.
Exactly. But companies are selling it like this, and usually you're just going out through your urine. So it's like,
That's okay.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't hurt you.
Yeah, as long as you get
right.
what you need. And then I did the homework on zinc. So zinc is a big thing for COVID. So zinc, this is my formula for COVID, is basically it sits in your throat for a day or two, or maybe 3.
What does?
The COVID virus.
Okay.
And it doesn't do anything. After 2 or 3 days, then it gets into your system.
Okay.
So what the zinc does, and the vitamin D3, it boosts your immune system. So even if it does get in, it's difficult for it to attach. Right. But with that, if you gargle 3 or 4 times a day put in salt, and it'll just take that away. Also, if you drink something very hot like tea, it kills it. So if you do those, you do your zinc and vitamin D, you gargle often, and you drink hot beverage,
you're good to go.
You're good to go.
All right.
Now, if it gets through your eyes and you touch in your hand, that's a different story.
Okay.
That's a different story. Yeah.
All right. Right. Well, the people that have been dying, they've said for the most part are people that have pre-existing conditions.
Exactly.
Respiratory problems, they're elderly. That's been happening.
Because they're weak. Their systems are weak. Yeah.
And the few children they said that have died, I shouldn't say a few, I'm not going to try to act like an expert on this or anything, but I remember they had one story about a 14-year-old who died. He's supposed to be a kid in the U.S. But if you read further in the story, this kid was 300 pounds.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
He'd have to be, 7 foot tall for that to work. 300. So this kid was probably
the pressure was on his chest.
He probably had all kinds of
underlying.
Yeah. With all that excess he had, all that is the stuff that your body can't get rid of. We know that. Your body says, I don't know what to do with this, so it stores it as fat.
Right. Exactly.
What are things what are you working on now more than anything else? I know you're working on trying to get rid of the Bell's palsy and stuff, and you're doing your home. Anything else you've been working on?
Yeah. I just turned 56, so
Yeah, you're old, man. I usually don't do people on my podcast. I don't usually don't talk to people that old, but still, I made an exception for you. 56. Man, that's old. That's old.
So I have an optimum weight and strength. Well, basically, what I'm doing right now, usually if I don't do any weights or anything, I'm like about 77 kilos.
7 kilos, okay.
And then with COVID,
but how tall are you?
I'm 175 centimeters.
175, okay.
175 centimeters.
Okay.
And then with the COVID, I didn't work out for a while, so I went down. And before COVID, I was about 79, but I went down to like 76. You know, I just not doing anything and just
being at home,
being home, busy.
Right.
So my goal is I want to get to my optimum,
which is
wait a minute, and then maintain that.
For the rest of your life.
Yes. So basically, I want to get to. I started powerlifting this month, and I will continue to the beginning of February. And I went from 77. Now I'm like 81 kilos.
Okay.
And my goal is to get up to about 85.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. And after that, I will get kind of cut and maintain about 82.
Right. Mm-hmm. See, I think a lot of people started redefining how they want to be in this COVID situation. It's giving them a lot of time for introspection, you know, sitting and thinking about yourself. So I've done the same thing, as a matter of fact. And you didn't say anything about how lean and mean I look, man. You remember how pudgy I used to be?
You weren't really pudgy.
No, but with my sons, you know, coming around all the time too. So mine's opposite of yours. I was 89 kilos, you know, and I'm 182.
Okay, so you're where I want to be.
Yeah, so my height is 182, so I'm 89. I was 89 kilos. Now I'm down to 82, sometimes 81. And your weight does fluctuate throughout.
So what's your goal?
What I want to do is, I made it to 80. I want to get to 79, just to get to 79.
To see what it feels like.
And I weigh myself in the morning after I've been on my fast. And the thing that's worked for me is this intermittent fasting. And it's worked wonders. You do 18 hours a day, then I can eat. And then I do 18 hours a day.
What's his name does that?
I love it.
There's a famous black actor. He's on We've Got Talent. You know, big muscle guy.
Terry?
Right.
Terry somebody,
yeah. Yeah, he does it.
He's got a lot of muscle. And it's hard to maintain that. When you have that much protein, you know.
Well, but this is the thing. I think his thing is he eats from 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mine's different, yeah.
2 o'clock in the afternoon up until maybe 10 o'clock at night.
Okay.
And after 10 o'clock at night, he doesn't eat till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, so basically, he every day there's a fasting part.
Yeah, fasting part, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how mine is.
Yeah.
Mine is set up. I have it on my an app on my iPhone. So I download the app, and I think it's called Zero. It's an app.
Zero. Okay.
Zero. You get it, and then it's really good because you can see it. Because sometimes when you just think in your mind, you get tempted this and that. But when I have it on the app, I can look, and I'm always thinking that's running right now, so I can't eat anything. Because if I am, I've broken my fast. But you can drink coffee as long as you don't put anything in it. Hard liquor, because very few calories.
Right.
That won't break it. Because of what I've been told. So I do that just to wean myself away from trying to get snacks and stuff in between. So I basically.
What about like celery sticks and stuff like that?
But I don't do any of that, because then you're really breaking your fast. The whole thing is
right. Liquids.
If you don't eat, you're not going to gain weight. Period. Your body's going to use what it has. Simple as that. So it's not any rocket science. And what you eat, they tell you, of course, it's nice if you pick what you're going to eat, and you have good stuff coming in your body. But if you don't, you know, just don't eat. What
my doctor told me is, because I have asthma, I had to take a CT scan of my lungs, and the heart is right there. So the doctor was like, "Oh, your heart, you have one of your arteries is somewhat clogged, a little bit." I was like, "Whoa, really?" And he was like, "Well, take the skin off that chicken." And he was telling me, "Don't eat this, don't eat this. You know, anything white is not really good. White rice, no. Bread, no. Anything white." And so I was saying, "Okay, I get that. I can stop it, but how do I get rid of what's there?" And he says, "Well,
when you do that, you start."
Yeah, and then he says, "Well, basically, you can't get rid of it, but there's only one way you can get rid of it, and that is if you fast. Because if you fast, your body takes the fat from different parts of your body. Exactly. So if you fast a certain way, your body will say, "Oh, we need some fat
That's
here,"
right.
and they'll take
Start
it.
taking it from different. Thank you.
Yes.
That's what happened to my whole side. All these love handles they talk about. And when I was fasting, it's the only thing I've done that works. And when I listened to the book, first of all, on fasting, it made so much sense. I've tried all the different diets they have, and they never work. And I tried working out, didn't work. Fast, man, I have the six-pack now. My pecs, bingo. All I do is some incline push-ups, do 100, not at one time. Do 50 here, do 50 straight ones. Bingo. I look like my sons. You know. So I do it just before they come over. They let me know when they're getting ready to come over.
Yeah.
And get it done. I really do. But no, fasting has really been a godsend for me.
And speaking of push-ups, I do 500 a day.
500 days. But you don't do them all at one time.
No, I do
throughout the day.
I
so
do
in a day.
I do 10 sets of 50.
Okay.
You know, minute and a half, boom, and it's intermittently throughout the day. So I've done 500.
You do 500.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, I don't do that 500.
Yeah, I mean, if you know, and
but
then
do you do? You don't go all the way down. You do 1, 2. Your elbows bend, right?
Yeah,
then you do.
That's the thing. I used to do that.
I don't do that anymore because for what?
You don't have to do that.
You don't have to.
And it's not good for your joints.
It isn't. Thank you. I was going to say that.
Even if when you lift weights, all you have to do is stretch it enough to push it out. Right. You don't have to do it deep.
I do pull-ups. I have a pull-up bar in my office. You know, I mean, in between the door hinge. So I do pull-ups, and I sometimes do mixed grip. I do, back, reverse grip, sometimes front grip. But I just do about 6. And I pull myself up, come down, pull myself up. And then I have free weights, and I use those. And I don't try to get too heavy, but heavy enough for me to feel it. But I'm not trying to prove anything. And I lift that over my head and bring it down, and I do, across my chest to work on my pecs. The same thing. I want to.
You have a gym or a bench here?
No, I don't have a gym or anything. I don't lie down. But when I get on top of my bed to do my sit-ups and all that, when I do sit-ups, I don't come all the way up. All I do is touch my heels, just enough to touch my.
Well, you shouldn't. I used to do those in the military.
I know everyone did.
They're not good.
All that stuff. I know.
You can wreck your back.
You tell me about it. So
all you have to do is touch your chin.
Yeah.
And you get the tight. Yeah.
Right.
You can do that on the train.
Yeah. Tell me about it. What time do you have to go to your thing? What time is that?
Oh, I got another hour yet.
Another hour?
Yeah.
We're not going to talk for an hour.
No.
Another hour, man.
Yeah, so maybe 15 minutes.
Okay, we can do 15 more minutes.
Yeah.
This is all on that. I'm not going to edit this out.
Okay, yeah.
Keep all this in there.
That's good.
I want to make sure I want to make sure that the video part is running too, because one time I did a guy and I had to do him twice, and he's in my setup, and I did not record it. We were doing it online. We were doing it on Zoom. And I didn't record. I didn't press record. And I felt so bad. But I'm pretty sure this is.
Yeah.
If it isn't, I'm pretty good.
Yeah, we did the testing and everything.
We did testing and stuff.
Yeah.
So what else have you been up to?
I just, as far as my Bell's palsy, it's going very well. I've been busy for the last year and a half, getting money together. And the house.
How did you find that to do? Did you have someone assisting you to do that, or do you
No. Basically,
so you're fluent in Japanese.
Pretty much.
You have enough to be able to do. Get a
no,
loan.
not a problem. Yes, okay. And I've had loans for my business.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I talked to you about that. I'm going to get that.
Yeah. I remember the one time I was. We all go through that spell. I was like, Lance, my business. And he said, go to here. I think it was GSL. What was it? JSL or something like that. And I got the loan, paid it back. And I went back and got another loan, paid that back.
There you go.
And, a lot of people think loans aren't good, but huge companies, companies have good loans.
Someone said to me once before, and I use this all the time, say, if you don't owe anyone, you probably don't own anything. And I use the analogy. I used to do this. They'd say, well, okay, let's say that you have a lot of money, and B, you're A person, and you have a lot of money, and this is B person, and he doesn't have a lot of money cash, but he owes a lot of people. He owns instant, and there's an earthquake, and a big beam falls on your leg and on his legs, and they owe him money, but you don't owe any, but you have money. Who do you think they're going to try to help first? So that just tells you how much the loan is worth.
Right.
You want to be in debt to someone. You got to make sure they're good loans, as you said.
Like before. You're in stake for something, yeah.
If you don't owe anyone, you don't probably own any of that. You don't have much. And everyone that has something has leveraged certain ways, and you've got to do that.
Right.
And it's not about I like to say this, and I have to tell my son I'm not going to talk too much. Lance, if he listens to this one, I'll tell him that. It's not about ownership. It's about having control. Because we don't own anything.
Can't take it with you. Yeah.
It's all unknown, isn't it?
Exactly.
Including your body. My brother said that to me once, and I thought that was the most profound thing I'd ever heard.
Yeah, everything doesn't have, and everything doesn't have to be in your name.
Why would, if you have control over it, why does it need to be?
Right. If it is, you're paying taxes on it. Right?
You sure are. They're looking for you.
Yeah.
And most of these big companies and stuff aren't inanimate objects. There's people behind that. And the smarter ones are never in Forbes, I believe. You're never going to track them because they don't put it in all one place. They didn't do something so innovative that everyone could track them to it.
Right.
But they own part of this company and part of this one and part of this one and part of this one, or have control in them. And they're not taking commercial airlines, and they have a helicopter when they need it. And any kind of car there is, they have access to it somehow or another.
And then when you leave this planet, you should be poor.
Or you should be able to put your stuff in someone else's control.
Right.
Be Warren Buffett and say, Bill Gates here.
Yeah. Or what I'm basically saying is, you've worked hard all your life. Why give all the taxes to the government, right?
Well, the government doesn't, I believe the government doesn't want you to pay a lot of taxes. They want you to be smart with your money. If you're not,
then they
say, we have to take this because it's for the good of the people. When I had my audit, I had an audit once here in Japan, and the guy said to me, Lisa, why aren't you concerned for paying, such high taxes? And I said, because you don't limit how much I can make. And there's so many write-offs for your company if you think the right way and you do the right things. So I said, if you limited how much I could make, then you'd have serious problems with me. But you don't. So percent of what is the question?
Right. You want to pay as many taxes as you can. That means you're making.
There you go.
Right.
And everyone, I think all big businesses want to help the public. They have to, because that's where their income
their base.
comes from.
That's where you're right.
Their income comes from that. So people look at big corporations sometimes and feel bad about them and think, oh, they're robbers, this and that. No. They help maintain the roads and the buildings that you're in and everything else, the glass that you have in your building, all of that. So they're probably some of the best entities around there. But since they are so big, when there's one that's bad, everyone focuses on that and they blame all of them. So you can have one bad person in your company and that makes the whole company look bad.
Right. One bad apple.
But they couldn't have been bad for, company. And there are some, of course, but there's still
exceptions.
They're exceptions. They're exceptions to the rules. Yeah, man. Well, look, we don't have to take this any longer than it is.
Okay.
Thank you for the time that you.
I'm glad you asked me to do this.
No, and I'm going to have this up quicker than you can believe. Quicker than you can blink your eye. Especially because you're at Bell's palsy. No, that's wrong, man. That's wrong.
Okay, you got Bell's palsy jokes. Okay. Oh, and just keeping it real.
Yeah. I was going to say, what do you want to end with? Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just want to say, having this sickness, I can totally empathize with handicapped people. Because, not being able to chew your food and, I've experienced that. Yeah.
So it makes a big difference.
It makes a big difference.
We just came from one of your friends' house that I just met today who's paralyzed and the whole left side of his body's paralyzed.
Right. That was totally stress.
Yeah. And that's only been his daughter's 6 years. So 6 years he's been like that.
Right. So his older daughter experienced seeing him mobile,
so she knows that the youngest one doesn't know.
Right, the youngest one doesn't know.
The day after she was born, he had this stroke, massive stroke. But he's a good guy, and he's speaking and stuff.
Yeah, we're going to see if we can get him back.
And once you introduce him to your acupuncturist, he's going to get himself together, and I think that whole left side's going to rehabilitate itself.
Yeah.
I sure hope so.
I hope so, too.
But again, Embrey, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
Sure.
And
thanks for having me.
I'll have it up, and I'll make sure that I get it to you as soon as I get it up.
Okay.
All right.